Cicadas appear almost like clockwork, blanketing backyards, parks, and towns in a historic emergence that hasn't occurred in over 200 years. Billions of bugs are emerging from the soil across a vast swath of the United States, a natural phenomenon last witnessed in 1803. This event involves two broods of periodical cicadas, insects with long life cycles that show up after specific intervals. The Northern Illinois brood, known as brood 13, spends 17 years underground, while the Great Southern brood, or brood 19, lives underground for 13 years. What's so stunning is that they're here all along, but because they're underground, everybody forgets about them, said cicada expert John Lill, a professor of biology at George Washington University. The synchronous dual emergence of these two broods, which happens once every 221 years, is underway until June. More than 3,000 species of cicadas are found worldwide, but just 9 are periodical. Of those, 7, all part of a genus known as Magicicada, inhabit the eastern United States. This spring, all 7 U.S. periodical varieties will appear. The densest places they live coincide with where people are. They love the edges of cities, like woodlots and suburbs, and even urban areas with older neighborhoods and big trees, Lill said. It's not like something happening way out in the countryside that nobody pays attention to. It's going to happen in downtown Chicago. The largest city in the vicinity of brood 13 is Chicago. The biggest cities in the range of brood 19 include St. Louis, Nashville, and Charlotte, North Carolina. The two broods could encounter one another around Springfield, Illinois, possibly resulting in hybrid cicadas, although it's unlikely to mess up the bug's internal clocks. The first sign that cicada season is imminent is the appearance of small holes in the soil, often near tree roots. Triggered by soil temperature, these holes can show up weeks before the insects begin to emerge. 64 degrees Fahrenheit seems to be the magic number, Lill said. That's when they get the cue to come up on time. While the Northern Illinois and Great Southern broods haven't been spotted in the same year since 1803, dual emergences of 2 of the roughly 15 broods of periodical cicadas happen relatively frequently. The last dual emergence was in 2015, and it'll happen again in 2037. Outside the US, periodical cicadas appear in Fiji and India, where a brood known as the World Cup cicadas appears every 4 years in tandem with the soccer tournament. The cicada's life cycle is fascinating. Mating: males sing by vibrating a membrane on their bodies to attract a mate. Females lay eggs inside slits they carve in trees. Nymphs hatch, drop from trees, and dig into the ground. Years later, the cicadas emerge, shed their outer skins, and take their adult form. Once a cicada emerges from a tunnel, its first goal is to find a vertical surface to shed its exoskeleton and spread its wings. They're driven to climb, Lill said. Once they reach a certain height, they stop and start this molting process. They crack open the back of their exoskeleton, and do this really elaborate backbend followed by a big sit-up, and then they break out. This transition happens at night, making it a ghostly event. By morning, the bugs' bodies have expanded, hardened, and changed color. An inch or 2 long, the cicadas sport glistening black and orange torsos and bright red eyes. With newly unfurled wings, they gather in trees to mate. Periodical cicadas embody a biological phenomenon known as predator satiation. Their defense against predators is their sheer numbers and the unpredictability of their emergence. During the peak of the emergence, only about 15% of them get eaten, so 85% survive and reproduce the next generation, Lill said. However, the climate crisis is beginning to affect cicadas. Early springs and warm rain events are heating up the soil, causing them to come out earlier than usual. Growing seasons are getting longer, and the longer the growing season, the more cicadas can grow each year, said Chris Simon, Professor of Ecology and Evolutionary Biology at the University of Connecticut. Male cicadas congregate in trees and burst into song to attract females. The males produce this call with an organ known as the timbal that clicks when a cicada flexes its muscles. Enough separate clicks coalesce into a surprisingly loud sound known as the cicada chorus. It's like the decibel level of a trash truck, but it's buzzy. The species calls are all very different. Some sound like a UFO or a drone, and they go loud and soft. Others have little clicks associated with them, Lill said. Female cicadas signal their interest in potential mates by clicking their wings and using other behaviors. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel for further notification.